Hello, I'm Zeospantera, and welcome to a very sick review. And I'm not talking about like sick, bro. I mean, I actually have 102 fever. But you see, my girl Pasta did the Toronto Audio Fest, and when she was there showing off Eris, amongst other things, she met this man, the man who's running Opalaudio.ca. And he is struggling right now to sell his headphone on Kickstarter. The 20 backers with 20 days to go. A goal of $26,000, which is like a reasonable goal. You know, sometimes the goals are like, oh, I need $50 million. So he wants $26,000. He's got 8,900. That means he's about a third of the way, which means with 20 backers, we need to sell 40 of these. And we're going to sell 40 of these right now. So this 22 left out of 30, which means some of you are going to pay $466 US. And why is it so terrible to scroll on this page? And some of you are going to pay $502. And none of you are going to complain at either one of those prices. Because I've done a lot of, like, hey, this is my first time headphone. I got Jeffrey Yin's original planars down there. I was there when Mod House started doing the original versions of, like, Tungsten. I mean, shit, I remember I have Dan Clark's Mad Dogs. None of them have been this well put together. There are some things we got to talk about. The wire I'm currently using is from my Eris because the wire he sent it with that he had was like is it the worst? It wasn't the worst. It was just wrong. It felt like it was a headphone splitter for like two computers and not a headphone cable. And this leather here lacks like niceness because it's just but holy God, that leather there. And then the wood. So, all right, dynamic driver. Should I probably read specs? I actually don't know them. Because I was sent this, and it was originally like, just like, hey, see if you like it. But I'm like, well, I'm going to do the review if I've listened to it long enough. I took these to Capital Audio Fest this weekend to show off on the new Valencia super amp that's coming out. Could I call it a super amp? My marketing brain is telling me I should call my amplifier a super amp because that'll really make people look at it. The super duper early bird was only $430, which is why that one's at the bottom. So yeah. Things and stuff and updates and community. Let's look at the headphone, and then you can make the decision on your own. Because I wouldn't rush. I wouldn't sit here and do a 102 degree fever. By the way, iced tea with about 1.5 cups of melted honey in it. Because, oh my God, I need that. Conflu. Headphone, dynamic. Already, the way the wires are set up, a lot of 3D printed parts, obviously. Some of these are, I forget what the process is when you make the metal and you 3D print sintering, metal sintering, which he's like, hey, these are not production, so, make sure you don't break it. People were abusing them the whole weekend, nothing broke. But, really, like, look how well put together this is. Like, that piece, I would never imagine you'd have, like, a guy doing a DIY headphone up in Canada who could make that shape. Like, ooh, and it does angle locks. I mean, and look at this. Look where the wire's coming in. It's not straight into the cup. Straight into the cup is easy. Not easy is 3D printing an entire piece here and putting it on an angle, which is what everybody should do. These, I actually like the look of these. They're also not huge. I actually had these and the Atriums, the ZMF Atrium. That's another company that, headphones for decades to get to their final build. And these are much smaller cups in diameter, so you don't look, when you're wearing a ZMF, you look like you're wearing a ZMF. And these are just like a little more small. The wood, of course, is just absolutely gorgeous. Whatever this blue impregnated maple is. If I start seeing like elephants and stuff, I'm going to let you know. I'm sure they're down here. Oh, God. Comfort is fine. The pads are still a 100 millimeter. He included 3 sets of pads when he sent them down to me. I think these are the ones that he had on it by default. And I liked them, but only on certain sources. It was much more source dependent with a solid pad. I put on these, which will obviously probably not be the last ones. These are kind of beat up. But we've got a very thick velour and fenestrated inside. These are a 2-knuckle. I think they're Dakoni. So your adjustment is here. Did we lose something there? We lost the black cap. All right, I'll have to send it back to him so that doesn't fall off. So you slide it, and it actually has a little bit of movement inside this chassis. I'm not sure if he's going to keep that, if that's a design thing, or if he wants it to slide smoothly. But either way, that does help it adjust a little bit. Probably going to solve that. We've got this piece of leather on top, which is actually 2 pieces of leather stitched together. Here's the thing. you put this on a $4,000 headphone, I'm going to be impressed because look how thick. This is like nearly a centimeter of leather. 2 pieces attached together, stitched through with his logo on top of it. I would almost give these things a pass just for that. Registered trademark thing there. The spring tension is good. The inside piece of leather we've discussed already. You can adjust it by unscrewing this, and there's extra holes, which I guess, it's a prototype he's building. You wouldn't have to worry about that because we do have these adjustments here. So the size is good. The clamp is good. The build is good. People would just see those and be like, what are those? And I'm like, Opal Audio. Look it up. Do these look like a headphone you should be able to get for $500? Because I've reviewed some recently that are $500 and they don't look like $500. And these actually do look their price. Imagine it done. Imagine him hitting his goal, making these out of different materials or just getting really nice finishing on it, including new pads and not completely used abused pads. But we got to talk about the sound too. So let's put these things on. When the very first listen was only about a week ago, because I got them from Leo from Orchard Audio had them. He brought them back down from Canada, and I plugged them into this, the Aoun M1P, which is, it looks like a Zune player. It's almost spelt like a Zune player, but it has magic properties because of the FPGA thing. That magic property is to make the battery die in 2 hours. All right, no. It did make it an entire day at the show, so 5 hours, the screen's off, and you're not playing music constantly, you can use this. But this has a very specific sound quality. And that's what the case was. I liked it way more on this than I did all the other amplifiers I had there until I swapped pads. Now that I've got these other pads on, and I hit play, and fucking Lyra Lynn comes on, and she's like, I'm like, this is someone's first headphone? This is a prototype. First. Under $500. I mean, right now it's under $500. Hopefully he makes his goal of selling 40 of these, and then he can charge I think 800 Canadian, which translates to, I don't even know. Don't make me do Canadian math. I'm sick. Yes, Canadian math is different from U.S. math. My girl's an accountant. I know. Oh, good. I should just play back the messages I had. When I first heard these that morning on that, I was just sending messages to the patronage chat, to the lifetime chat, to Twitch fam, to Public Z reviews. By the way, Telegram, all sorts of things and announcements that you usually get. Check out the link tree or just become a patron to subscribe to those. But I was just listening to things over and over going, God damn, these are smooth, wide, not like pleasant, nice. They deliver a sound that I don't expect from someone's first headphone, unless they're me. Although Eris is just an absolutely absurd thing. Don't worry about that. But he's taken the time, whatever the tuning he's done, and I can take off the front of the thing so you can see it. I would not have guessed. Odyssey, there's so many companies that are established. Fucking Beyerdynamic. I know Beyerdynamic is Beyerdynamic, but they could use some help figuring out what sound they're missing from their lineup. There are so many big companies that just make a headphone, and it's the same sound signature at different price points. And this, I'm dying. This is a sound signature that most of them should at least offer. Something that doesn't abuse you because you're listening to it. That isn't trying to prove its worth. Like, look, I'm worth this. I totally sound amazing. Like, I'm nearly Sesvara, or I'm nearly HD800s on a tube amp. Like, just make your own fucking sound. And I feel like that's what he's done here. Now, if I go to something super linear, which you're the most linearist I got, you're also being preamped from this, which is the FIO R2R. It keeps going to like string quartets of Smashing Pumpkins, and it's perfect. Like, this is not competing with the Moondrop Paris or the Moondrop Venus or anything. These are not big these don't sound like a big aggressive planar. They're never gonna be. They're dynamic. If I was to compare them to DMS's headphone, The build is 50 times better than DMS's headphone. It is. It's right there. I could see it. I could see the headphone right there. DMS did his thing. He made it as light as possible. We all love DMS, right? Can we all say it like a class all at once? We all love you, DMS. Yay. But I don't think anyone's like jumping out a window to be like, oh no, DMS has the best build quality, the best looks. It's like this is someone's first fucking headphone? Are you serious? Could you imagine it with the trim and everything done, and this isn't speckled, and it's got real caps that aren't little plastic things, and this doesn't look like it was cut by a scissor? Fuck. I shouldn't even have to make this review. I just post a picture on Twitter and everyone would support this guy. But now I've got to talk about the sound. And the sound is just this like extremely... Look, Canada. I know about it. You know about it. They make poutine. They play hockey. And they're nice to you. Mostly. There's other parts that are not nice. But we don't talk about those. These are one of the most polite, engaging headphones that has ever come out in a dynamic for under $700. Here's another thing. It's the price point. If he said these were $1,500, he'd have a way harder time selling them. Because I could look at my wall and I'd be like, well, yeah, but you're not built as... You can get a fucking Fostex for that. So they're half the cost of a Fostex dynamic. And Fostex dynamics are extremely amp dependent. And now that I've got these pads in there, they're not extremely amp dependent. Because I'm listening on what I would consider the linear setup here. And if I switch to something... I'm going to go back. I wish on a big fat fish that I could play the Monogatari soundtrack loud enough for you to hear it, but I can't because that's the one that gets me fucking Sony cease and desist orders. So just, there's a bigness to the sound that people stray away from. There's just, it doesn't feel like it was born on a measurement rig and will die on a measurement rig. And I can't tell you, like, I feel like there's like a civil war brewing, not in America, but in the world of audio. Because the more and more I try to push my Eris, my headphone, my tuning choices out there, the more I'm finding these hardcore pockets of resistance that is like, well, did you measure it while you were building it? No. Why would I do that? No. I mean, if you're aiming for a target curve, which you should probably aim for and then stop aiming for and actually tune it so you like it. If you're aiming for that curve, then by all means measure it. You're the creator. But if you're getting a headphone and you own it and you just do this for fun and you're not some sort of studio executive that needs to know exactly how it's going to sound on an average bias of the Harman curve, then you should just be like, oh, fuck it. Listen to it on 10 headphones and whatever the average is in your brain, that's what it sounds like. And these sound like that. These sound like someone built a headphone, measured it, went, okay, we have a little bit of a hump here and a little dip here. And you know what? Sounds good anyway. So I'm just going to keep tweaking with fabrics and things, never measured again, and pop out a headphone. These sound... It's already too much. I'm probably going to get a fucking copyright thing for that. For that 1 second. 1 second of Monogatari. It sounds like a wooden instrument. And I've said that before in reviews, but not recently. When a headphone sounds like it's a cello and not, to quote Harmonictine, a cold piece of machinery, I have to give praise to that. So I don't know what driver he's using, if it's a Peerless or not. I'm looking at the back of it. There's 2 holes popped in the paper because I know how the paper reacts. I can see straight to the driver. So I don't know what he's doing back there. A lot of the tuning must be in the front, but oh, wait a second. If I pull this off, slightly angled. Like, look. That doesn't even look like a 50. That might be a 40 millimeter. Are you a 40 millimeter driver? But like, look at the fuck. Who would design like that angle, the whole thing? 3D printers are great. I really should get into doing them. Yeah, and it's got the slot here, so when you put on the pads, you can do it easily by putting that on and then just rotate around. But I'm old school. I have to put the pad on with the thumb through the pad. Someone was like, "Hey, can you show me how to put pads on?" I was like, "Here you go. Ready to watch this?" Okay, it's done. It's all about getting those fingers or thumb up in there and rocking and rolling. These should sell. We need 40. Do we have 40 tributes to get this guy to his goal? We got 20 days, which means I'm sick, but I could probably download this camera and get it uploaded, and then I got to figure out my schedule because the thing came out yesterday, today, tomorrow, and I got the 13th, 14th, 15th, 15th? 16th. This video will probably be out on the 16th of this month. Hello from the future, from the past. Someone out there has got to have enough faith in my words and this build quality to be like, you know what, Zeos? I own 1 million headphones. Here's $500. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this fucking goes. Kickstarters are scary to everybody. Trust me, I know. I sunk a bunch into a racing wheel, a direct drive racing wheel, and the company was like, we made pedals. And I'm like, bitch, I don't need pedals. And that was like 4 years after I gave them my $500. And they're like, well, it turns out we don't know how to make the wheels, so we're just going to learn how to make things. Here are pedals. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking stab you. You make the thing you said you were going to make. I'm going to... So anyway, yes, these things. I should probably go and have more warm liquids and food. What's your guys' cure for the flu? It's not COVID today. I'm sure of that. It's definitely the flu. Let me know your flu cures in the description. No, I can't do that. You can't write in our description. Let me know in the comments what your flu cures are. So this is leaving with a sick princess pasta tomorrow to go back up to Canada. I'll alcohol wipe them because somebody else wants to try to review them before the time limit's up. And the website for them is Opalaudio.ca. But all it does right now currently is linked to, well, the Kickstarter. So come on, we can get this up there. I have goals. I have hashtag goals. Updates, let's see, fact, comments, community campaign. 4 years of research and development, Ambrosia Maple. Oh, by the way, the name of them is the Opal Audio AM7 Ambrosia Maple. The fact that the word maple is in the headphone title makes perfect sense. It's Canadian. So like this one he's got here showing pictures of says Opal Audio Ambrosia Maple here. So he's changed that for that one. The leather strap looks so much nicer on that one. I think that's the O, so he might have made the word Opal come across it larger. Oh yeah, he moved the stitching. I want to see what this guy can do. I want to see what this guy can do. And it would be very, very sad panda bear. By January 2025, AM7 units sent to Kickstart backers. I'm gonna say this on his behalf. June 2025. He might write January 2025. I know how these things go. If enough people buy it, June. But yeah, no, they're fucking solid. Maple. Look at the work he's doing on them. Hopefully he doesn't get too many orders. Like, I wouldn't want this guy to have 10,000 orders. Then he's fucked in a different kind of way than we like to be. Like, if my headphone sells 10,000, I don't think China's going to have a problem making it. I think that one Canadian man with a couple tools is going to have a little bit more of a hard time. I'm just appreciative of this being... This is now the standard. If you send me a headphone that's like, hey, I'm building a headphone, and it doesn't angle lock and have sintered metal pieces and the nicest fucking leather I've seen on any headphone. You all suck. Like, you show me a headphone that has a nicer leather spring steel strap than this. It's like fucking rock. This must be one of his earlier ones because it's been sitting around for 2 years. Like, this is insane. This needs to be changed. But this, never change that. It's just beautiful. Beautiful. Anyway, I'm done now. I'm not going to have time to do the sound demo for this. Or the what's it called when you're not sick? Energy. And don't think coffee's going to help. I'll probably just have the shakes and shits and shivers. The 3 S's of the apocalypse. Wallpaper and the Wallpaper Horde. Thank you to him for handing this over to a random Canadian woman, who then handed it over to a random American man, who then sent it to me for another random American man, so that I could tell you, these are fucking good. They're good. They sound good. Do they dig deep? Are they sub-bass monsters? No, I'm used to Eris, so nothing is going to win in the sub-bass. They're sub-bass. It's just hidden over a veil of all bass in Eris. These. And I think if he's not done with these pads yet, like picking these pads, I think there might be even more potential locked inside. Which, by the way, Sparkos Gemini with the Wyatt tube. Oh, get on my level. Oh. I can still make that noise when sick. Nothing in this world makes sense now. Ryan Dietz from Mod House, broest bro, was like, oh, you don't have a Wyatt tube? I have a few of them. Take this one. Bro. Oh, okay, I'm leaving now. Goodbye. Click the link. Please help this guy get at least closer to his goal. And even if you don't want to buy it, I'm sure there's someone you know who's a psychopath who's like, I buy everything that's great. Why Why are these so nice? Vocals are just like, fuck.